My next guest has been at the forefront of a public battle against what I consider a filthy and completely inappropriate book filled with sexual content that is pitched at young children. The book is entitled Welcome to Sex, Your No Silly Questions Guide to Sexuality, Pleasure and Figuring It Out. It's co-authored by Yumi Steins and Dr. Melissa Kang, and it's raised questions about when does information under the guise of children's sex education cross the line into something much more sinister. Having seen some of the material in this book, I can state that if an adult sent or discussed this type of sexual material with a child on the internet, it's highly likely they could be arrested. Here to tell us what it's all about is Senator Ralph Babet from the United Australia Party. Senator, thanks for joining me. Why is this book different to other long-standing sex ed resources available to children?
Well, Corey, first of all, thank you for allowing me to speak about this book and more broadly, Corey, the issue of sexualization of children in our nation. I have the book. I've purchased the book. So everything I say here, I've seen myself. When I was first made aware of this smut, in my opinion, we drove straight to my local Big W, parted with 16 of my hard-earned dollars and purchased that copy right there. Now, the way I look at it, I preserve the innocence of at least one child, but unfortunately, Corey, I've also learned things that I can now never unlearn. Now, the first page of that book states, and I quote, Corey, whether you're an apprehensive 11-year-old or a curious 14-year-old, this book is all the info you need. However, Corey, Yumi Steins, one of the authors, has publicly stated that she would be happy for a mature 8-year-old to read the book. Now, a mature 8-year-old, Corey, it simply does not exist. Now, parents at home, be warned. You might assume that this book is a sex ed book, not unlike what you may have read when you were in school, however many years ago, a book which maybe it focuses on biology, but that is not the case at all. Now, the book, as far as I'm concerned, Corey, is an instruction manual, not only designed to introduce children to sex, as the title suggests, but also teaches kids how to perform adult sex acts. It talks about the importance of penis size, and it moves on to explain how different sexual positions can help a person achieve orgasm. One page is even titled The Lowdown on Anal Sex. It doesn't just describe anal sex, it describes how a couple might like to lick each other's anus. The book calls this rimming, but it gets worse. It goes on to talk about fingering, hand jobs, oral sex, scissoring, and of course, no kids' book these days is complete without a section on transgenderism. This book is available in public and school libraries. It is very far removed, in my opinion, to what a civilized society should expect to be shown to their children.
You know, Senator, I agree with you. I'm cringing at the descriptions that you used. They are all in that book. I don't think they should be used on primetime TV, let alone discussed with 8-year-olds. But Big W withdrew this book from stores. It had a backlash, but it's still carried online. It's carried and sold by other retailers. And I did note the sexual activists even pushed it to #1 on Amazon. Now, they're claiming that it suggests there's support from parents for teaching kids about all sorts of these, bizarre acts and fringe sex acts before they're teenagers. How are you going to respond to that?
Very simply, Corey, I just don't think that parents are buying this book for their children in droves like these hard left activists would have you believe in the media. They're just not. Look, unfortunately, I bought a copy of this garbage in order to review it. And I've seen a video online of a guy who bought a whole basket of them and burnt them on a charcoal barbecue. Look, Corey, not all heroes wear capes, right? Look, I think there are two types of people buying this book. One, people like me, simply to take them off the shelf to preserve the innocence of children. Or two, Corey, the hard left activist types buying this book as a way to signal their virtue. And what virtue is that? The latest woke trend of sexualizing children. Now, Corey, there are roughly 3.3 million families with dependents in Australia. And according to my research, to make #1 on Amazon, activists simply have to purchase several thousand copies. That's it. Now, whatever way you look at this, Corey, this book is fringe, and the people who might purchase it are in the minority. Decent, everyday parents do not want to teach children as young as 8 how to perform sex acts or welcome their preteen children to sex.
Yeah, I agree with that, Senator. But I'm always amazed at the moral abyss I think society seems to be sinking into. So my kids are old enough now to not concern me about this stuff, but what about concerned parents? What can they do about it? And what do you think, what will you be doing, I should say, from here?
Yeah. Yeah, look, Corey, one section of this book discusses sending nude pictures. Now, it discusses how someone, maybe a child, can send a picture to a significant other, if you can even call it that, and advises them to first crop their head from the picture. Now, parents at home, imagine this. Your child takes a nude picture and shares it with someone. This picture then gets passed around on the web. Well, you know what? That's child pornography. And those who share and possess that picture could be breaking the law. Now, why would this book encourage that kind of behavior? How about instead we tell children never to share naked photos of themselves to anyone? How about that instead? Now, concerned parents, you need to parent. For too long, we've let the state intrude into the parental role and push an extreme left Marxist agenda. One where, among many other issues, the sexualization of increasingly younger and younger children is being promoted as the new normal. Now, I've written to the Classifications Department, the Communications Minister, the CEO of Big W, and Peter Dutton. Mr. Dutton, help me protect children. I've got serious concerns over the graphic sexual content in this book. Now, I want this book appropriately classified and removed from the reach of all young children. I'm going to lead the charge. I ask the millions of parents out there, speak up, join me in this fight. Don't let the activists left gaslight you into accepting perversion as normal.
Yeah, I reckon you're on a virtuous cause here, Senator, so more strength to your arm, and thank you for that very graphic and quite frankly uncomfortable description of the contents of this book. Appreciate you joining me on Bernardi tonight.